Hey guys and gals, welcome to Boomer TV and the Video Game Factory. I'm Andy Asher. Now, if there is one thing, just one thing inevitable about life, it's change. Now, sometimes it is self-imposed change. It can be the most difficult of all, and it comes oftentimes during midlife and later on when we realize inside there is a tremendous need for something more in life. It can really be overwhelming at times. Our guest today is someone who has really explored it and done it. She is Amy Schmidt, and she has a new book out, and it's called Cannonball, Fearlessly Facing 50. Amy is coming up in just a moment. Now, the Video Game Factory here at Boomer TV, is about how I am having so much fun playing here, and surprisingly, how interesting it's been with a wide range of experiences and emotions for me. I just have to do one thing up there. But you are in my playroom here, so you will catch me like I am right now, noodling around a little bit and talking to some amazing guests just like Amy. And I'm returning to my favorite action game. This is called Battle Royale that you're watching right now behind me. Yesterday I was playing a duo version of this with my grandson, and he taught me a few things, but today I have switched from the duo to the solo version since it's just me, and I'm going to see how things go. You can learn more about, by the way, our upcoming shows in our newsletter, and you can connect with us at Facebook and at YouTube, at Twitter and at Twitch, and of course you can do that at bloomerboomer.com. And while we're streaming everything, you can follow us and hear more about what's coming up. And in the meantime, we will get started with Amy right after this. Let me catch that here. And remember, I love marmalade. Now, Amy, it's great to have you here, and I know how you have captured the essence of making a splash in the pool with a cannonball. I think that's fantastic. Now, given the times that we are, living today in a pandemic, what is one thing that has changed most in your life?
So this has been a time of just sitting around the dinner table that we haven't had in years. So I'll have to say I'm grateful for that. So it definitely has been different.
Yeah. What was it that most inspired you to write Cannonball?
I think what really inspired me was just that, like many women and men, they just feel like there's something more. There's something there. And I think that midlife is such a time of transition for so many people. And you just kind of have to sit back and reflect on what you've all experienced and put that together and say, wow, I have this knowledge to share. I can learn more and I can get my message out there. So, for me, it was interesting. I was sitting around with, if you read the book, you'll find out I've moved 11 times, been married 27 years, all of these things that a lot of people do.
In a way, Cannonball is more than a book. What is your vision of it?
And just jump off and cannonball off with this huge splash when everybody's watching. Uncomfortable, yes. Not pretty. You got to start ugly. All of that, and just do it. So that was really why I've gone all in on this whole life after 50.
Yeah, in a way, Cannonball is more than a book. What's your vision of it?
My vision of it. Good question. Andy, I think I want it to be on the shelf of every woman, no matter what age, because I think back to raising my kids and having what to expect when you were expecting, or what to expect toddler years or teen years, but there really wasn't a handbook to go over what life is like for women at midlife and beyond. So my vision is to, have this book on everyone's shelf. And the nice thing about it is it's not only my story and my journey, it's other women's story as well. But it is, at the end of each chapter, there's action steps, reflections that you can take to apply to your life so that you can have the confidence to try something new, to get out of your comfort zone and, be a little more vulnerable.
What I'm wondering about is what you think of this. And now, a great many people have private thoughts of change, but instead, we simply lapse back into everyday life, and it's been frustrating. Now, what is it that energizes other people to take on the challenge, and for others who they just don't want to do anything?
Yeah, I think it's a great question. And I think a lot of people do get stuck. And speaking from a woman's perspective, I think a lot of women get stuck because they feel like they've lost their identity. Maybe they've chosen to stay home and raise their kids, or, maybe they've put their career on hold for some. And all of a sudden they're sitting back and saying, wow, I've been a great wife and a daughter and a sister and a mother, but where did I go? And, I think that there's that whole loss of identity thing that goes, you know, kind of kind of links in to this time of life. I feel like some people just have fear that just sets in. Unfortunately, there are women that and men that don't apply for jobs because they feel like, oh, I'm not qualified. They count themselves out before they really sit back. And one thing I always talk about is sit back and reflect just for a moment on, just close your eyes and have it scroll back like a Rolodex, which my kids always laugh at because they have no idea what that is. And just think about those moments of greatness that you've had, those experiences that you've had that have contributed to your story and your qualifications for anything. So before you count yourself out of trying something new, take that moment to just reflect back. And, I think with age too comes knowledge. For me, it was, I share the story of starting my first podcast back in October and, sitting down and having everything ready and, having a little photo there to kind of focus on and say, okay, Amy, just go for it. I had the mic set up, I had everything. I went for it. I was done. I went to find the audio file. And of course, it wasn't there. I forgot to push record. I mean, you may think, okay, and this woman's a podcaster. Yeah. Yep. Well, you learn. And I think that's something that we need to challenge ourselves more, lifetime learning. Try it. Hey, are we going to fail? Are there going to be some hiccups? Yes. But recalibrate, forge ahead. I think that's really the mission I always have around it. And I think that if you just wake up and say, I'm going to try something different today.
What is it about women, do you think, that seem to be more open to the idea than men, or maybe not? What do you think about that?
Oh, good question. I think that women thrive on community and connection. I look at my husband, who's a few years older, and he has the LinkedIn connections through work, but he doesn't have the Facebook community and the social media like a lot of women do. Women really thrive on that trust, that just being comfortable and feeling safe in a community. And I think that's why women reach out more. They look for those relationships. They're willing to, maybe sign up for a 9-hole golf league. I just did that. I hadn't touched a club in 20 years, but I said, you know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to try. And I think women are more apt to do that, maybe because they just feel that being around other women is kind of a connection that they're lacking.
And what is turning 50? Why is turning 50 a wake-up call so much?
Yeah, it's so funny because I was just asked recently on an interview, somebody said, hey, Amy, where do you see yourself the next 10 years? And I was like, wow, in 10 years, I'm going to be 60 or 61. I mean, that's so crazy because as a 30-year-old, I thought that was so old, just outdated, antiquated, forget about it. And now I look at this time of life as I'm more inspired and more challenged around things, technology, all of that stuff than I've ever been. Maybe it's because I have a bit more time. Maybe I'm using that time differently. But whatever it is, for me, I just feel like life at 50, that's my whole goal, to be honest, is to change the narrative around midlife. Because right now when you Google it, the first thing that drops down, of course, is crisis. And we want to change that narrative. So the drop-down box is opportunity, because there is so much opportunity. We have more things at our fingertips. I mean, just look what we're doing today. I mean, what you do around technology, and it's all in our handheld devices. We can Google anything. We can learn anything. Yeah. So the sky's the limit. I really think so.
What was your dream when you started Fearless Facing 50?
It's really been interesting, and I'm proud of that. And I'm not afraid to say I'm proud of that. And maybe 20 years ago, I wouldn't have said that. But it's really cool when your young adult kids will say, hey, Mom, you get a little text that says, hey, break a leg today. Or, wow, I just read what you wrote and I thought it was great. it's so funny for them to view me in a role of, being an entrepreneur now, starting my podcast, writing Cannonball, fearlessly facing midlife and beyond, having a blog, speaking around the country. It's strange, but yet empowering. So, and my hope with that is that my kids are arming themselves with the tools and resources they need as they get older, especially my daughter, to say, okay, my mom did this at 50. I can do it too. So I really hope that I'm proud of that fact. I love that they can see me now differently than as a mom and as somebody who put their career on hold for, since 1997. I retired from corporate America in 97 and kind of put everything on the back burner. No regrets, but it's a choice I made. So to have them view me differently is really, really cool.
You have a lot of irons in the fire. Tell us how people can learn more about you and where to find you.
Definitely. Thanks, Andy. Yeah. So my book, I've got it right here. It's very exciting. It's the first book I've written, and this is me on the cover. And I like anybody that's watching, listening, can see this photo. This is me. And it was funny because when Cannonball launched, or I guess I had about 16 readers who read this before it launched. One was my brother. My parents had both passed away, and he said, "Wow, Aim, it's really bold. Like, that's you in a swimsuit." And I was like, "Yep, no Photoshop. I'm just doing it because I want women to feel encouraged to put themselves out there." My book's available. It's called Cannonball, Fearlessly Facing Midlife and Beyond, on Amazon or in bookstores. And I was proud of the fact that it was trending at #1 in new releases on Amazon the day it launched. So that was pretty cool. So I feel like people that are reading it are finding value in it. I have a website, which is Fearlessly Facing 50. 50 is always spelled out.com, where I write. I have a blog that I keep updated. I run podcast workshops for people that are interested in kind of getting their confidence behind the mic, whether they're doing it for business or as a hobby. And I also have my podcast, Fearlessly Facing 50. I drops every Friday. Sometimes I do a bonus episode or two. And I talk to women and men that have inspiring stories to share at midlife and beyond. I talk to experts on those topics that we all share. And then I talk to celebrities, which has really been fun to kind of have them share their journey. I had Joan London on about 2 months ago, and it was just fun to hear her perspective on aging and going through cancer and all of the things that she's done and how she continues to live forward. So, if you want to reach me, I encourage you to check out the website. You can subscribe to that or subscribe to my podcast. I would love to connect. That's the big thing for me. I feel that it really feeds me, and I thrive when I, connect with people and I get feedback from them. So I'm loving reading the reviews of the book and the podcast and feeling like I'm adding value.
Thank you. Amy Schmidt, thank you so much, with Cannonball, Fearlessly Facing Midlife and Beyond. You can find out more on Facebook and on YouTube and at bloomerboomer.com. And if you like this, please like us on Facebook and follow us. And in the meantime, I'm going to continue playing my game. I am sort of stuck in a bad place right now because you're way out in the water and you're very, very vulnerable. I'm going to go and continue on. Wish me luck. In the meantime, I love marmalade.